My name is Eliza Smith. I am a junior religion major with a poverty studies minor. And my experience with homelessness since coming to Friend, I think, has been actually kind of an interesting one. I wasn't actually all that familiar with any type of homelessness in the Greenville area prior to my internship this year. My internship this year is actually with an organization called GAIN, and that stands for Greenville Area Interfaith Hospitality Network. And so what GAIN does in particular is we actually target homeless families, and those typically will be single dads, and then also families where maybe the parents aren't necessarily married. We're actually the only shelter in the Greenville area that will take either of those circumstances. And so we actually are an interfaith organization, so we partner with different religious organizations and also churches in the Greenville area, and we have kind of an immediate emergency relief system set up with those churches where we actually house some of those families in those religious organizations. And we actually transition our families from that first emergency state into what we call interim housing, and then we transition them into official technical housing after that. And so it's kind of a three-part system, and I think what I've learned really most importantly through my experience is the subjectivity of poverty and of homelessness more specifically. I've learned a lot of kind of about what the governmental sector of that looks like and kind of public policy as well. And so I think I've really learned a good bit about what different people in different circumstances may be eligible for, what they can apply for. And I think that's helpful in remembering that homelessness is not an issue that's so widespread that a stigma can necessarily encompass the type of person that would be in that boat. I would say definitely the most prevalent stereotype is kind of the drug abuser stereotype. And so for our program in particular, we actually do not take anyone that does not pass a drug test. And very rarely is that actually a problem for us with people that we come walking through our door that want to interview for our program. And so that's one thing that's really been surprising to me.
Fretwell. I'm a junior political science and poverty studies major from Columbia, South Carolina. One of the major stipulations of the poverty studies minor is you have to take part in a summer internship in which you spend at least half of your time dealing directly with the homeless community of wherever you're stationed. And this summer I was actually in Greenville at a nonprofit downtown called United Ministries. Basically, United Ministries serves the homeless in three main ways. It has a free GED tutoring program for high school dropouts who are trying to get their GED, trying to go back to work. Second major focus of United Ministries was their emergency assistance program, which really served people of very low income. And then actually the third aspect of United Ministries, which was where I worked most heavily, was a center called the Place of Hope, which is a homeless day shelter open 5 days a week in the mornings. And it is basically a place where homeless people can come day in and day out, take showers, shave, brush their teeth, and also talk to case management workers there who are basically staffed to help these people do anything from get their first ID or social security card to actually find legitimate long-term stable housing. And I think the biggest takeaway I have from that is putting a face to homeless people. So often we make policy decisions based on stereotypes surrounding the homeless community. And what I gained most from this internship was the ability to see these people for who they are, not as a collective unit. Many of our conceptions about homeless people are inaccurate in the sense that not every homeless person is addicted to drugs. Not every homeless person suffers from mental illness. Really just anything that we credit to the community as a whole is often not true. I also went on a MAX with Furman to San Francisco. That course was centered mostly around social activism in the Bay Area, and I focused mostly on advocacy for the extremely poor, extremely low income, and homeless. I really admired how they did it in San Francisco because their main goal, and something I hope to eventually push for in South Carolina, is a policy method called Housing First, which is the idea that we go ahead and give all these homeless people a stable place to live, get them off the streets, and pair them with case management workers or social workers so that we can combat their ailments in a stable place.